Hello everybody. Oh my god. This is going to be a pretty serious topic, so if you do not have the attention span, then just don't listen. But I honestly think this applies to a lot of people because of my last video about death. Because I'm taking a death and dying class. And I know for sure Dedrick Rose, Dedrick Rose. That was actually a speed art drawing that I did, but I meant to say Dedrick Wolf. His name's Angel, and for sure he asked if I could elaborate on it because he said he was afraid of death. And same for another subscriber, I believe his username is That's Cheese and like 2 numbers, I believe. He also asked to elaborate on that and he would love to hear about it. So these are for you two and for whoever else wants to know about like death, and not just the obvious like, oh, it's just blackness, but for people who want to stop being afraid of it and want to know a different perspective on death, because I know that nobody can really tell you what it's like, and I can't even tell you what it's like when you die, but I can tell you how to live, like not like bossing you around, but death and life goes hand in hand. So what I mean by that is without life there isn't death, which means there really isn't life, because I mean like it'll be like the world would just be overpopulated and you wouldn't be giving somebody else a new chance to live what you've kind of been through, or even the earth that you're on, or whatever planet eventually, maybe in the future. Mars? What? I'm just kidding, not Mars. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get straight into it. So the gigantic question is, why are we even afraid of death when we don't know what it's like? Sometimes maybe when people die in a very like slow, painful way and they know they're about to die, and I'm sorry, that really does freaking suck. Nobody should ever die that way. Nobody should be murdered or like executed or even accidents. Really, just nobody deserves to have their life cut short. So why are we afraid of death? Because we know that the human body physically is prone to death so easily. Automobiles, like roller coasters, kitchen knives, weapons, and even water, like drowning or a fire burning, like, or natural disasters and even diseases. So yeah, our human body is prone to so much shit that could kill us, like no joke. But you shouldn't live your life thinking about all those things. You know what I mean? Yes, people do get cancer. It's so true. But I read part of this book called The Cancer Journals by Audre Lorde. And she talks about how she never wanted this path. Like, I'm sure if anybody could choose to have cancer or not, they wouldn't want it. But what stood out to me the most in her book is that, well, from what I read, is that she wouldn't change for anything. Wherever she is at, she's happy. So regardless of what path like that she took, even if it's like one that she didn't want to take, which is cancer, she doesn't regret it because she's still that same person who she is. Yeah, maybe she's like physically or mentally not like stable as well as she was, but we're all going to become old, and that's not a bad thing, because we know what it's like to be young and to do what we think we want to do and to fulfill those things and to be happy. And then when we're old, we get to reflect on everything we've done and what's happened in our lives. And that's amazing to be able to come to a point where we can think about everything we've had, all those memories, all those feelings, all those experiences. That's an amazing thing, to be old, to like watch yourself give life and to watch that life like grow and to experience their own adventure. And that's really cool. I know I'm not there yet, but that's how I see it. But why else are we afraid of death? Personally, because I think that most of us, when we're young, we haven't decided what our dreams are and what we want to do with life, right? So if you know and you're scared, it's okay, because you just want a chance to fulfill your dreams and your goals and whatever you want to do in life, whatever makes you happy, like a talent maybe, you want to do all those things, right? And you're young and death scares you because you think that death takes away that stuff from you, takes away the dreams and the goals and maybe even your loved ones or things that you love. But sometimes when you think that death takes something from you, it also gives you something. Whether it's someone close to you died or your pet died or your favorite celebrity died, you get something out of that. And I'm not saying that, oh yeah, like in a greedy sense, like, oh yeah, you should die so I can like have all my mom's money or something. I'm not talking about that. Maybe it gives you the will to want to inspire yourself to do better or to change, or it makes you want to help others, or it makes you want to do something. You know, it just, when death happens, life also happens. Like I said in the beginning of this commentary, life and death goes hand in hand. And that's not a bad thing. So death is seen as like a horrible thing because you know, life is, you're able to live, and of course life is amazing, but death could also be a good thing. I'm not saying it is in certain cases, it's probably not, because like I said, young people who died and they haven't even gotten to fulfill what they wanted to and become that whole person that they want to become, and then they die. Nobody deserves that. I'm not saying that that's a great thing, but what I'm saying is that death isn't bad because it's the cycle of life. It's a part of the cycle of life. Think about it. You can, hold on, whew, it's hot in here. You can definitely be born into this world, right? And let's say everybody has their own little story. Let's pretend this is all a story. And we have like, 7 billion characters, because that's how many people there are in the world. And each character, so each person, has their own background to the story that fits in this story, and it relates to everybody. Everybody has the same purposes in life, right? They want to survive. They want to live. They want to either change the world, or they want to help others, or they just want to travel or go places and show their talent. Anything. It could be anything. And so every person has something they want to do that is self-fulfilling. And once they've done that, I'm not saying you'll stop doing that when you're older, because what you do could be passed on to other people or other generations or the next one. And your work continues. Anything, dude, I love this quote. Everything we do is legendary, and we're gonna do it till the day we're in the cemetery. And that's from Logic, like one of his lines in his newest songs that is amazing because it's true. Everything we do does affect at least one person, and it at least changes one person's life. And that's the cycle of life. And just because somebody dies, it doesn't mean that what they've done in the world, or even for you, or for whoever they're doing things for besides themselves, it lives on. It continues. I mean, look at Martin Luther King and all these people, amazing people, who have been gone for a while now, and their work still lives on. And that's, to me at least, that's what life is. And like, I'm just saying this, I'm using them as an example because, well, Martin Luther King as an example because he's done something so amazing and gigantic. And I'm not saying like everybody's gonna have to be like Martin Luther King in order to like make a difference. That's not true. You can even change a animal's life just by adopting it or whatever. Like whatever you want to do with your life is going to be legendary. Not necessarily like to the whole chapter book in the storybook to all 7 billion people, but to you. And that's your background. That's what you do. That's what you live for. And so it's not bad to have death in the world, because once you do what you want to do, and I hope you all do, honestly, you may not know that now, like you don't know what you want to do, but it's okay, you'll find it. Because that's what growing up is. You find out who you really are. You learn about your strengths and your weaknesses. You learn about what you love and what you don't really like. You learn about how to make friends, or like how to, have your first interview for the first time ever for a job. You learn how to overcome a fear. You learn how to control your sadness or your anger. Like, that's life. That's amazing. Everything we do is legendary, and it's amazing. So don't ever think you can't ever do anything. That's not true. So when we die and we've done what we've wanted to do, you'll feel that self-satisfaction, that, okay, that's awesome. I've done what I wanted to do. And the reason why we're so scared is because we haven't even gotten there yet. Some of you guys may not even know what you want to do, and that's fine. And like, even if it takes a long time, it's okay, because the process of you just finding what you want to do and finding who you really are and what you care about is also life. It's just a process. And I'm not saying that like everybody's life is going to be perfect when they grow up. Not true. So many obstacles, so many things you got to learn and deal with and love and you maybe even dislike. And it's beautiful. That's what life is. It's a cycle. And death is involved because once people die, which they do every single day, there's room for another character to have their own story within this gigantic storybook. And that's amazing. You're just passing on what you've done. So I hope you guys got something out of this. And personally, what I'm afraid of isn't death. It's not making a difference in the world. I think I've said this before. And what's your biggest fear? You know what I mean? And so why would death be a reason? Or why would death be the reason of your biggest fear? If it's going to happen to everybody. You know, there has to be something else that makes you scared to die. Because if we're all going to die, and it's not a bad thing, what are you afraid of?